Imagine this. A racist cop humiliates an innocent girl in front of a crowd, thinking he can get away with it. But what he doesn't know is that a powerful woman is watching, and she's about to teach him a lesson he'll never forget. What happens next will leave you stunned and show the true power of standing up for justice. It was a beautiful sunny afternoon, the kind where the city streets are filled with the sounds of laughter, casual chatter, and the footsteps of people enjoying the day. Families strolled along, tourists snapped pictures, and the atmosphere was light and carefree. However, beneath the surface of this idyllic scene, something sinister was about to unfold, something that would shake the community to its core. A racist cop, known to the locals for his bigoted behavior and arrogance, was on his usual patrol. He wore the badge with a sense of superiority, and his actions often reflected the disdain he had for people who didn't share his skin color. On this particular day, while the streets bustled with life, the cop's eyes locked onto a young white girl walking alone. Her face, unaware of the impending danger, was bright with the innocence of youth. With no warning or justification, the officer approached her. He grabbed her arm roughly, forcing her to stop. Without hesitation, he lifted her skirt in front of the growing crowd, a cruel smirk on his face. The girl stood frozen, her heart racing as she felt humiliated and exposed. The onlookers remained silent, too scared to intervene, while the officer simply walked away, leaving a shattered young girl behind. The day had just taken a dark turn. The distance, Vanessa had been watching the unsettling scene unfold, her heart sinking with each passing second. She had seen her fair share of injustice in her life, discrimination based on skin color, unfair treatment, and the harsh reality that many individuals face simply because of their race. But this act was different. It wasn't just about racism or prejudice. It was about a violation of basic human dignity, and it struck her to her core. She couldn't stand by and do nothing. Not this time. Vanessa was no stranger to standing up for what was right. She had faced adversity throughout her life, but had always fought back with strength, resilience, and unwavering determination. As she observed the racist cop walking away from his despicable act, something within her clicked. This was her moment. She was not going to let him get away with it. Without a second thought, she took a step forward, her feet moving decisively. The crowd around her fell silent, sensing the shift in the air. Vanessa's eyes burned with fire, her every step exuding purpose and power. She wasn't just walking toward the officer, she was walking toward justice. The people around her wondered what would happen next. What was she about to do? It was clear that Vanessa wasn't just going to talk, she was going to make this right. As Vanessa closed the distance between herself and the cop, a palpable tension filled the air. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation. The crowd, sensing the rising conflict, instinctively gathered around, watching in awe as Vanessa approached the officer. The cop, initially walking away with a sense of triumph, stopped in his tracks. When he turned around and saw her standing there, unflinching, his smug grin quickly faltered. His eyes narrowed as he sized her up, unsure of what to expect from this fearless woman. Vanessa, however, was resolute. She didn't flinch or shrink away under his gaze. Instead, she locked eyes with him, her stance firm and commanding. Her voice was steady but carried an undeniable authority, cutting through the tension. "Do you think this is the kind of justice you represent?" she asked, her words echoing across the street. The cop scoffed, brushing her off with arrogance. "Stay out of it, lady. This is none of your business." But Vanessa wasn't intimidated. Her response was unwavering. "It is now." The crowd was captivated, hanging on to every word. With each passing moment, Vanessa's voice grew stronger, more assured, as she spoke of the values of respect, dignity, and true justice. She demanded accountability not just for the officer's actions, but for a system that allowed such behavior to go unchecked. For the first time, the racist cop felt vulnerable, realizing that the justice he had been so freely dishing out was now being turned back on him. The tables had turned. The tables had turned. This was Vanessa's moment to show him what real justice looked like. Vanessa's bravery didn't stop with her powerful words. She knew that sometimes actions speak louder than anything else. As the tension between her and the officer simmered, she pulled out her phone and pointed it directly at him. "Let's make sure everyone knows who you really are," she said. her voice unwavering as she started recording. The officer, realizing that his actions were being captured on video, visibly tensed. His smug demeanor cracked, and for the first time, he looked nervous. The camera captured every moment, the officer's irritated gestures, his attempt to brush off Vanessa, and the injustice he had just committed. But it was too late. What seemed like a small, unimportant act of defiance was now immortalized on video, and in mere minutes, the footage was circulating on social media. The video quickly went viral. People watched in disbelief, their shock turning to anger as they realized what had just transpired. The truth was out in the open, and there was no going back.
The video sparked outrage, but more importantly, it ignited a fire within people. They weren't just angry, they were inspired. Vanessa's courage motivated others to take a stand against injustice. Within hours, Vanessa's social media accounts were flooded with messages of support.
Strangers, activists, and everyday people praised her bravery, and many offered their help in ensuring that the officer faced real consequences. As the officer scrambled to cover his tracks and protect his reputation, he knew the damage was already done. The truth had come to light, and there was no hiding from it now. In the weeks that followed, the officer's suspension was just the beginning. An investigation was launched into his actions, but for Vanessa, it wasn't enough to simply see him removed from his position. She understood that true justice went beyond individual punishment. It was about creating systemic change, ensuring that such behavior would never happen again. This was just the start of a much larger mission. Vanessa took her fight beyond the streets and into the heart of her community. She met with local leaders, organized rallies, and spoke at community events, calling for better accountability within law enforcement and a deeper commitment to racial equality. She used her platform to shed light on the ongoing issue of racial discrimination, not only in policing but across society. She encouraged others to stand up, to speak out, and to take action when they saw injustice. Her courage sparked a ripple effect that spread far beyond her neighborhood. People from all walks of life, inspired by her bravery, began to speak out against racism, refusing to be silent in the face of inequality. In the end, the officer was fired, and his actions were met with the consequences they deserved. But the real triumph wasn't just his dismissal, it was the message Vanessa had sent. Justice isn't just about laws. It's about standing up for what is right, no matter the personal cost. She became a hero, showing the world that one voice, one act of courage, could spark a movement and change the course of history. Vanessa's courage shows us all that standing up for what's right can change the world. If her story inspired you, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video to spread the message of justice and equality. Let's keep standing up, speaking out, and making a difference. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.